Gurve Gaura Chandaya. Is it on? Is it working? Gurve Gaura Chandaya Radhika Tadale Malati Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Dandavat Pranams. First of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev. Om Vishnupad Danti Swami Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj. Also, our Shiksha Guru Srila Govinda Maharaj, Shri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Gosai Maharaj. All Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So, Hare Krishna. Welcome back. Little break we had, almost 1 month. Very nice. We had Julan festival here in Vrindavan. Very sweet. 5 days. Rupa Goswami's disappearance, also Baladev Prabhu's appearance. So, what can we say? So much nice festival. So we'll continue Jaiva-Dharma. Chapter 21, you can go back. Chapter 20, Vaidhi-Sadhana-bhakti, you can all finish by yourselves. It's pretty straightforward. Straightforward since what is written there is easily understood. Not that it's so much easy to do. So when Vijay and Brajanath heard from Gurudev 64 limbs of sadhana bhakti, the first 10 are considered the main. Guru Padashai, taking shelter of Guru, accepting Diksha and Shiksha, following the path of the Mahajans, like this, Vishwambena Guru Seva, serving Guru with intimacy. Now, these first 10 are considered the mainstay. The next 10 are prohibitions. Don't collect unqualified disciples, don't collect too much money, don't over endeavor for pompous endeavors like festivals like this. Don't eat non-offered, non-vegetarian foodstuffs like this. So 10 prohibitions are there. Then the next 20 are considered also like following courtesy. What else? So many of there. Archan, the 9 limbs of devotion. But the conclusion is the last 5 considered most important. Sadhu Sang, associating with sadhus, Nam Kirtan, chanting the holy name, Bhagavat Sravana, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mathura Vas, residing in a holy place like Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka, etc. And Shishadaya Murti Sevana, serving the deity with faith. Then Swajatya Snigdha, associating with sadhus who are more advanced than you, who are affectionate to you, or who are in the same line, have the same desires, same aspirations, means same sampradaya, same goal. And in association of sadhus, here the Srimad Bhagavatam. So all this Babaji Maharaj explained. So Vijay and Brajanath went home. They're too much impressed hearing the deliberation of sadhana bhakti, of Vaidhi-Sadhana-bhakti. Vaidhi-Sadhana-bhakti is when that anurag to Radha Krishna in the line of the Brijbasis had not manifest. Right? We are not waking up in Mangalati and chanting Harinam because I'm a gopi and I have my seva to do. Without Radha Krishna seva I cannot live. Rather, if I don't go to Mangalati, I'll go to hell. I'll go back in the cycle of material existence. I will suffer. So I have to do, scripture says, Vaishnavas have said. But still, even one who has these feelings is greatly fortunate. So all this was described in chapter 20. There's no excuse for having no time. We've had 1 month. So Vijay and Brajanath went home. They were so much impressed by Babaji Maharaj's conception. So they realized, especially Vijay had received Diksha mantra also from his Kul Guru. In India, it's like habit, everyone have to take initiation. So, you take initiation from someone, his father was the previous Guru, his father was the previous Guru. This is called Kul Guru. So Vijay accepted, uh, yes, so Vijay accepted one family Guru, but he heard so much. Also in chapter 20, there is deliberation. Guru should be qualified. A Vaishnav Guru Nashad. If he is not Vaishnav, if he is addicted to sinful activities, Kaja Kaja Janata, he is bewildered, he doesn't know what to do, what not to do, who is opposed to Vaishnavas, then one should give up such a Guru. So Vijay realized my Guru was probably, Mayavadi, Panchupasak, he was not pure Vaishnav, so I have to accept mantra from pure Vaishnav in Sampradaya. So, and Brajanath a bit in the same category. He had not received any Diksha mantras except the Gayatri mantra when he was a kid. So both deciding we have to take from a Vaishnav Guru. So very early in the morning, Vijay and Brajanath, they collected many foodstuffs for the service of the Vaishnavas. They took bath, put on tilak, on the 12 places of the body. Then next morning they crossed the Ganga and went to Mayapur. When Babaji Maharaj saw them, of course, he is perfect Vaishnav, he knows everything. He asked, why have you come so early? Then Vijay and Brajan, of course, they had come to take initiation. Vijay and Brajanath said, we are very fallen. We are caught in ocean of pride. Like this means Babaji understand why they come. So Guru became very happy. So he took them separately into his kutia and gave them Diksha mantras. That time, I think, was tradition, only Krishna mantra was given. Afterwards, separate mantras were given for Lord Chaitanya, Gurudev. All this was just given by the disciple of Guru of the disciple of his name was Dhyan Chandra Goswami. His Guru was Gopal Guru Goswami. He's speaking the next section of the Jaiva-Dharma. So there he collected all the mantras for the worship of Gurudev, for the mantras for the worship of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. But that time this system had not been introduced because this was Mayapur. So previously people would just worship Lord Chaitanya by the Gopal mantra because he is Krishna, so no problem. So he gave them the 18-syllable mantra, Gopal mantra, I think, Gopal mantra. So they had 3 strings of tulsi around their neck, their foreheads were decorated with tulsi. So when they both became intoxicated, they both began chanting Jai Gauranga, Jai Nitai, and very ecstatically they began dancing and chanting. Some little astasattvic bhavs were observed, some tears, some hair standing on maybe. So when everyone saw these 2 brahmanas now had become Vaishnavas, then Babaji embraced them and he thought, you have purified me. Because Guru makes gurus, he not make disciples. So again and again, disciples put the food dust of Babaji Maharaj on their head. Then they had previously arranged many foodstuffs. So on the direction of Babaji Maharaj, that was offered to the deities of the Panchatattva there in Srivasangan. So Pujari offered the foodstuffs. All the Vaishnava, they did arati. Probably that time was lunch arati. Then the conch shells, many Vaishnavas were singing. So without doing Vaishnava Seva, we cannot be successful in anything. So the 2 Brahmanas had arranged so many nice foodstuffs. They were Brahmanas, so no one hesitated to take that food. So everyone was in line, everything was distributed, but the 2 devotees, Vijay and Brajanath would not take prasad because they wanted some Mahaprasad from Gurudev. They would not eat. Then finally someone said, "Oh, Babaji Maharaj, give mercy to your disciples." So Babaji Maharaj, out of mercy, he gave his Mahaprasad to these two devotees. So as everyone was taking prasad, one extraordinary scene happened. Everyone saw Lord Chaitanya manifest there. Let's read what they saw now. Everyone perceived Sachi, Mother Sachi, Sita Thakurani, and Malini. Malini is the wife of Srivas. Sita Thakurani, the wife of Advaita. And Mother Sachi, of course, the wife of Jagannath Mishra and the mother of Lord Chaitanya. Everyone saw them bringing Mahaprasad. Lord Chaitanya sat with his associates and Mother Sachi that distributed prasad. And Lord Chaitanya's associates were taking. So everyone saw this scene. They became stunned. They could not even eat. They forgot to chew. Everyone was just looking at this mercy. The Prakad Leela, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya manifested. For some time, everyone saw that sweetness. Then next minute, it disappeared. So everyone began to weep. Oh, Lord Chaitanya has given mercy to these two brahmanas. He has accepted them. That's why they have appeared today in this ceremony. So Brajanath and Vijay wept. We are very useless. We are worthless. All we know is the mercy of the devotees. So from that day on, every day they would take bath in the Ganga, Vijay and Brajanath. They would offer pranams to Gurudev. No, they would follow the 64 limbs of devotion, like offering pranams to Thakurji, standing up when the deity comes, taking off shoes before entering the temple, no? Avoidance of all seva parad. No? They began chanting so much Harinam. No? Not said how much they were chanting, at least a lakh of Harinam, you would think. So, some days passed like this, and they came again to Babaji Maharaj. They offered pranams to him. No, and they said, "Oh," Brajanath said, "Oh Gurudev, oh Prabhu, by your master mercy, we understood Vaidhi-sadhana-bhakti, no, devotional performed according to the regulative principles of the scripture. But now we also want to understand what is Raganuga-bhakti." So Babaji became very happy. So he said, "Yes." Babaji Maharaj said, "First I offer pranam again and again to Sri Rupa Goswami." Why? Because Lord Chaitanya liberated him from the association of the Muslims, and he instructed all Ras Tattva to him at Prayag. No, also Rupa Goswami is the Abhidheya Acharya. He's in charge of the process of sadhana bhakti. He described everything in his books, how to perform sadhana bhakti, Abhidheya. Then Babaji Maharaj said, "I give pranam to my Shiksha Guru, Raghunath Goswami. He is like a bee tasting the nectar of Brajaprem." So then Mahaprabhu gave him mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami by liberating him from material life, and also gave him to the service of Surup Damodar Goswami, and this way he achieved all perfection. So, please hear about Raganuga Bhakti, but first you should hear about Ragatmik Bhakti. Isti, what is Ragatmik Bhakti? Okay. Attachment in material world, attachment for the objects of enjoyment is called Visai Rag. In simple language, Rag means attachment. In material life, the attachment of the soul goes towards the body and that related to the body. But in the perfect stage, the attachment of the soul, that goes only to Krishna. So Ragatmik means the love that the perfected souls have to Krishna. Rag Atmik. Their Atma, their soul, is made of Rag, pure attachment to Krishna. So, Isti Satiskaraga Parama Veshatatata Tanmaya Bhavat Bhakti Sataragat Bhivatmika. Rag is the unquenchable thirst of the soul for Krishna. So that devotion which follows that Ragatmik, that is called Raganuga. Okay. So, in one's heart, in that person's heart who has appeared this rag towards Radha Krishna, you know, means I want to serve like Nanda Yasoda, I want to serve like Sridham Subal, I want to serve in Dasaras like Raktak and Patrak, I want to serve in Madhura Ras like Rupa or Rati Manjari. So a person in whose heart this greed has appeared, he is qualified for Raganuga Bhakti. And a person whose heart this greed has not appeared, they are qualified for sadhan bhakti. Okay? So Brajanath asked, what is the qualification for Raganuga Bhakti, Ragamoy Bhakti? Babaji Maharaj said, the only qualification is greed. Okay? The greed to have the same sentiments that the Ragatmik devotees have for Krishna, this greed is the qualification for Raganuga Bhakti. Okay, many people say, I have greed, but what is the symptoms of greed? So Babaji said, Tad tad bhavadi madhuja shrutana dira pekshate na shastrams cha na yuktams cha bhavlo lobutpati lakshanam. By hearing of the sweet moods of the Brijabasis for Krishna, one who develops an intense longing to follow in their footsteps, without depending on shastra, that is the symptom of lobamoy shraddha, or greed, or raganuga bhakti. Okay, so someone who has adhikar for Vaidhi Bhakti, they will test everything on the platform of intelligence and by the Shastras. Well, these three things he examines everything: intelligence, knowledge of the scriptures, and logic. So these three matching, then he does an activity. Guru Maharaj would say in simple language, this is called Buddhi Purvak. We're doing everything by intelligence. No? For example, we see something nice in a shop, we want to eat it, but intelligence says, no, brother, don't eat. Now is Chatumas, can't eat these things. This has not been offered to Bhagawan, don't eat. The cook has not taken Diksha, how can you eat it? So, intelligence, and then we control our senses and keep going. No? So, Vaidhi Bhakti means Buddhi Purvak, everything done by force of intelligence. We don't want to wake up. Why we wake up? I have to. It's my sense of duty. If I don't do, I will go to hell and suffer material existence. Buddhi Purvak. However, in Ragmarg, there is no such consideration. The only consideration he has is greed. Okay? What are the sweet moods of the Brijabasis? How can I attain such a mood? So this intense yearning is the symptom of greed. Everything has symptom. What is the process of Raganuga Bhakti? The only process is to remember that. Sounds easy, right? How Mother Yasoda serving? How Rupa and Rati Manjari serving? That is the process of Raganuga Bhakti. Okay? A sadhaka who has developed greed towards the service mood of a particular Brijabasi always remembers and meditates on his service to that personality. Like, but we will hear more later. So the main limb of devotion of Raganuga Bhakti is remembrance. In Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami said, the essence of all advice is what? Tanama Rupa Chadatadu Sikitananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasini Yojan Tistan Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayadakili Tupadesha Saram. The essence of all advice be in Braj, Tistan Braje, be in Vrindavan, and in your mind always remember a particular Anuragja, a particular devotee who has so much attachment, anurag to Krishna. So in the mind, following them, and by tongue, chanting holy name and remembering. This is the essence of all advice. So he follows the Brijbasis internally by always remembering how they are doing seva, and his internally conceived Siddha Deha, he also followed like that. We will hear all these explanations later. For example, if I want to serve in Vatsalya Prem, I should have an appropriate spiritual body to render service to Krishna. Means you also have a form like Nandi Yashoda or something. If I want to serve Krishna in Sakiras, I should have a form like the cowherd boys. Actually, I should have a form of a cowherd boy. So internally, always remembering that seva, and externally, behaving like a normal devotee, a sadhak, and doing Shravan Kirtan, following the 64 limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. So what is the relationship between Raganuga-bhakti and the Angas of Vaidhi Bhakti? The Angas of Vaidhi Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, 64 Angas, included within the practice of Raganuga-bhakti. Internally, the devotee follows the mood of the Brijabasis, and externally, he observes the limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti. Sometimes people want to cheat, pretend I am Raganuga Bhakti, but not go to Mangalati, not chant Harinam, not do Gayatri. Sometimes Gurudev would say, those who only want to serve by mind should not take prasad. Right? If you don't want to help cooking, help cleaning, help anything, going to market, no, then you have no right to eat also. So those who only want to serve in mind, they should also eat by mind. Right after Radha Krishna eat, you sit with all gopis and you take something. You do that. Means we are a little joking, but I have to follow internally and externally. Simple language. Seva sadhaka rupana siddha rupana chatrahi tad bhavata lipsita kaja braj lok anusarata. Inside by siddha deha, internally conceived spiritual bodies serve, following the footsteps of the Brijabasi, and externally behaving like devotee. But we will hear all this more. But it's quite simple to understand. Problem is when people give up, they think I'm very high, I'm Raganuga, and they artificially give up the practice of Vaidhi sadhana. What happens? Fall down just cause disturbance, chaos. Because you don't engage in the limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti, your mind and senses will drag you to a bad place. Anyway, so what is the speciality? What is the special thing in Raganuga Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti, Babaji Maharaj says, gives result very quickly. Very quickly gives result. How many types of Raganuga Bhakti are? As many types as there are Ragatmik Bhakti. Means 4. Das Sakya Vatsalya Madhu. Actually, even other sampradaya, like those who want to serve Ram, they also have to follow guidance of Hanuman or guidance of Sita. So even other sampradayas have also Raganuga Bhakti. They also have. Because you no other remedy except to follow someone, you have to follow Anugata. Of course, in Gaudiya Sampradaya is more complete, more perfect, more developed. That is. So, how many types of Ragatmik Bhakti are there? 2 types, Sambandhatmik and Kamatmik Bhakti. Sambandhatmik Bhakti means Das, Sakya, and Vatsalya Ras. They have Sambandha with Krishna. Krishna is my master. Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my son. Okay, these 3 are prominent. Okay. So 2 types of Ragatmik Bhakti, Sambandhatmik and Kamatmik. So he asked, please explain the difference. So Babaji Maharaj says from 7th canto Bhagavatam, Kama Dvesha Boyat Snayata Bhakta Shuri Manaha Avesha Tadagam Hitva Bhavas Tadgatim. Some achieve Krishna by lust, like the gopis. Some by envy, like Shishupal. Last night we heard a little bit about them. Some by fear, Kamsa. And some by devotion, like Narad Muni speaking this verse. So some just by ordinary devotion, like Narad Muni and others. Last night we were hearing Kamsa so much absorbed in Krishna. You actually see Krishna everywhere. So this is Rati, but unfortunately, unfavorable way. So just like Rati Abbas. So, some achieve Krishna by absorption in him by lust, some by envy, some by fear, and some by sneha, means bhakti. The gopis achieve Krishna by calm, lusty feelings. No? Kamsa by fear. Shishupal was envious of Krishna. No? The Yadus and others by family relationship, sambandha. No? The Pandavas by sneha, and others, rishis like Narad and others, by bhakti. So 6 principles are mentioned in this verse. 6. Lust, fear, envy, sambandha means family relationship, sneha, affection, and bhakti. So fear and envy should be given up, of course, they're unfavorable. So don't imitate them. One time I asked Gurudev, is Kamsa like Mahabhagavat because he's seeing Krishna everywhere? No? Gurudev really laughed. I remember he was really laughing. Then he said, what did he say? He said, something else. What did he say? Anyway, but I remember so much he laughed. Then he said to me, yes, you can follow Kamsa, then you also can become like Mahabhagavat. Like this, Gurudev was laughing. So, don't try to imitate Kamsa or Shishupal. Not recommended. So, 2 types of sneha. Sakyabhav, no? In Vaidhi Bhakti, I guess that means Arjuna and stuff. And Sakyaras in Prema Bhakti, that means Brajabasi. Okay. So Sneha means Sakya. Bhakti Bhayam means Narad and others achieved by Bhakti. That means Vaidhi Bhakti especially. Tadgatam means some, they all achieved Krishna. Okay. Anyway, so big explanation. Some Tattva you can read there. Okay, page 492. So, like the rays of sunlight and the sun are the same, the Gyanis attain Krishna, but in which form? In the form of the Brahmajyoti. No? Therefore, where do they go? The Gyanis, they go to Siddhalok. Siddhalok have two divisions, Satyalok and Brahmalok. So who goes to Siddhalok, the place of liberation? 2 persons, the Brahmagyanis and the demons who are killed by Krishna. Okay, so they attain Krishna, but in what form? The Brahmajyoti. Okay, so therefore the conclusion of all this, there are only 2 qualities which are related to Raganuga-bhakti. That is Kam and Sambandha. Okay? So we will hear what is the nature of Kam Rupa Bhakti. Kam means lust. So Kam means Sambhog Trishna. Sambhog means desire for immaterial life. We say sexual desire. But of course, this is not, this is spiritual mood. Sambhog Trishna means desire to be with Krishna like a beloved, like a wife. Sambhog Trishna. Anyway, we should learn Sanskrit because when you use material language, many problem comes. Sit here. Mouth is just give a little space to this. So Kam means what? Sambhog Krishna, the desire to meet with Krishna. No? Okay, we have to be careful what we say, but like wife, like beloved. Okay? Of course, in Golok Vrindavan, in Braja Vrindavan is no Swakiya married relation, but this all comes later. No? So here the word is used sambhog or kam. Kam means lust. But in spiritual world there is no lust. In other words, Priti Sambhog. Now, he's using other name for Sambhog Krishna. Here he's using the word Priti Sambhog. Priti Sambhog means the desire to satisfy the senses of Krishna. All one endeavors are solely for Krishna's satisfaction. Even the wives of Dwarka, they have some desire for their own enjoyment. Inconceivably so. But in Braj, they have no desire even for that. You cannot imagine how pure and how high. So even if there is an effort for one's own pleasure in Braj, sometimes we see the gopis eating or decorating their body, which normally looks for their own enjoyment, but it's not. That's also for the enjoyment of Krishna. So conclusion is, this unprecedented love, this Sambhog Krishna, this Priti Sambhog, this is only in Braj. So the gopis' prem has so much sweetness, so much madhurya, and from that come many pastimes. That's why scholars call this love of the gopis kam, but actually has no material scent. That is Kamanuga, Kamatmik Bhakti. That devotion is so high, even other devotees like Narad, Uddhav and others do prayer bandhana to that. This Kam Rupa Bhakti is only in Braj, nowhere else. Even love of Kubja and the love of queens of Dwarka, this cannot really be called Kamanuga. What word they use? The gopis' love is Samatarati. They can do anything, give up anything for Krishna. But love of Kubja, this is called Sadharanrati, ordinary love, because she wanted her own enjoyment. And queens of Dwarka, their love is called Samanjasurati. So conclusion, Kam Rupa means here only the love of the gopis, not Dwarka, no Kubja, nowhere else. The Kam I'm describing has no relation with Kubja or Dwarka or anything else. So here Kamatmik means Braj Gopis. Then Brajanath said, okay, what is Sambandhatmik? Sambandha Rupa Bhakti. Sambandha Rupa Bhakti is devotion to Krishna in which one assumes an abhiman, such as I am Krishna's father, I am Krishna's mother, I am related to Krishna in that way. This is Sambandha Rupa. Sakiras also Sambandha Rupa, and Dasiras also Sambandha Rupa. Following all this? Okay, anyway, anyway, you have to read it yourself. Here again and again and again and again, then we can understand this. But conclusion is, what was the question? How many types of Ragatmik Bhakti? Two types, Kamatmik, Gopi Bhav, and Sambandha means Vatsalya, Sakya, and Dasya. Okay, take care. Please explain the nature of Kamanuga in Raganuga-sadhana-bhakti. Where else you can read all these things? So Kamanuga means the desire to follow the Kamatmik. Understand the difference? Kamatmik means the Ragatmik gopis. Their love for Krishna is called Kamatmik Bhakti. And who follows that mood in this world, that is called Kamanuga. Okay. So this Kamanuga is two types. Sambhog Ichamoy, those who like to meet with Krishna like Lalita Vishakha and others. That is called Sambhog Ichamoy. And Tadbhav Ichamai, those who have no desire to meet with Krishna, like the Manjaris, but still they are called Madhuri Ras, right? Rupan Rati Manjaris, all this. Even Krishna calls them, they do not go. They serve Krishna, but only for Radhika's happiness. Okay. So, brother, what is Samban? What is Sambhogicha? Sambhogicha Moy Kam Anuga Bhakti means desire to be with Krishna. And Tad Bhav Ichamai Bhakti means the desire to serve Radha Krishna, desire to serve the gopis. Under Radharani's and Lalita's Anugatya, serve the divine. So Brajanath asks how these two moods come. Babaji says when a devotee sees Krishna's beautiful deity form, like this Julan Yatra, how beautiful the deity is. So when devotees see the deity's form or hears Harikatha, then when heart is purified and the desire comes, I also want to do that same. Anyone have that desire come after Julan Yatra? All that Harikatha? And how much we are wretched? Still. So, how it comes? By kata or by seeing the deity, one mood. I want to serve like that. One greed comes. That is how it comes. Raghunath said, but Krishna is a male and the gopis are female. So only the ladies have qualification for Kamanuga Bhakti. How can a male achieve this form? Okay. In this world, there are 5 different types of relation with Krishna: Sant, Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhur. And every devotee has their own inherent swabhav. Everyone has their own samskar, their own surup. Eternally, it's there. No one give. Of these 5, Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya are found in the residence of Braj. Santaras, that's in Dwarka, another. Santaras in Vaikuntha, another place. But in their pure form, Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya in Braj. In Vaikuntha and Ayodhya, there's also some Vatsalya, some Dasya, but it's mixed with so much Aishwarya, so much awe and reverence. Guru Maharaj would say, Ram has friends. How they wrestle with him? Maybe they wrestle as children, but so much awe and reverence. Lord Ram has friends like Sugriv and Vivasan, but they always know my friend is Bhagavan. So pure form of Das, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura only in Braj. 2.5 red rasas present in Vaikuntha. Santa Das, little bit of friendship, little bit. 2.5 rasas in other places. So, Das, Sakya, and Vatsalya, man can be there, male form can be there. Male form, male servants, male friends, and father. So some men have entrance, male form have entrance for those rasas. And women also have entrance for 2 special rasas. That is Vatsalya and Shringhar ras. Of course, Madhya Soda, and of course the Gopi's mood. Shringhar ras means Madhuri ras, the conjugal melody. But anyway, Krishna also have, ladies also have something for Das and also little bit Sakya also, but not mentioned here. Like Krishna also have some lady maid servants also. Anyway, I shouldn't add that, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. So, men have qualities for 3 ras. This is all on the spiritual level, soul level. And ladies have quality for 2 ras also. So Brajanath asked question, what if you're a male form in this world? How can you achieve the mood of the gopis? So Gurudev said, any male may also develop taste for serving according to the mood of the gopis. No problem. Externally they remain as males and practice the limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti, and internally in their spiritually conceived spiritual form, Siddha Sarir, they have a female form. Many people, you see, Many people you see in Britain, when you go outside here, many people also, they want to practice Gopi Bhav in the male form. You've seen many, right? So what they do, actually a few years ago, I was in the newspaper. There was one like district magistrate. In India, that's like very high position. Everyone like that. The chief of superintendent of police, some very high position in government service. So he also thought, I want to become a gopi. So he began wearing lipstick. And he'd go to his office like that, wearing lipstick, wearing gopi dress, wearing ankle bells. It was in the newspaper. And he gave up everything and went to Vashana and he was living like that. I remember 2, 3 years ago, it was in the newspaper like that. He says, very foolish thing. This is called, what do they call it? Saki Beki. It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur counted them as one of the 13 false sampradayas. Saki Beki. Pujabad Madhusura is saying when he was a young boy, the first darshan he had of Gurudev and Rup Sanatan, the Gurudev was talking about this very subject matter. That actually this body is material. How can it be fit for the uppercut seva of Radha Krishna? That is foolish. His body is still in urine. So Gurudev was talking this thing. Some people, they're man, but they shave 5 times a day and they wear lipstick and everything, and they think this is Gopi Bhav. So just as Gurudev was speaking that thing, one of these guys came in with lipstick, ankle bells, dress, sari, well, because Gurudev was speaking that thing, and just at that time, this person walked in. I couldn't stop laughing. Also, was a kid, Maharaj was like 12 or something. So couldn't stop laughing. And probably everyone, a lot of other people were probably laughing. Then Gurudev became very angry. And looked at him, his eyes were red, and Gurudev shouted at him, why are you laughing? And Maharaj became afraid, and he said he understood, oh, how much serious this thing is. How much degraded, how much misconception, we should be crying. Anyway, so don't do that. Requesting everyone, no need to go that path. Anyway, so don't do it like that. Someone who has adhikar, qualification for Sringhar Ras, may be a man, but inside they conceive of their spiritual form gopi, and internally they follow the footsteps of particular gopi according to their ruchi. We will hear more about this, who we follow. So Padma Puran described this mood in Dantakaranya. Some sadhus were there chanting Gopal mantra. They saw Lord Ramachandra. When they saw Lord Ramachandra, their mood came, we want to serve like Sita, like a wife, like a feminine mood. So they approached Ram with that. So Ram, no, that is not possible in this Leela. But I bless you, next life you can take birth as gopis. So Padma Puran described this thing. So then Brajana said, but we heard that the gopis are all Nityasiddhas. If all gopis are Nityasiddhas, then the story in Padma Puran of the sadhus of Dantakaranya is how is it? How can you reconcile? Then Babaji said, yes, the Nityasiddha gopis easily entered Ras Leela, but others who had achieved perfection and taken birth as gopis through sadhana or through kripa, through mercy, then what happened? They took birth in the pastimes of Krishna's sadhan Siddha gopis. So Brajanadas, please explain who are the Nitya Siddhas, who are the sadhan Siddhas. So Babaji explains Radhika and her Kaivyuha, her 8 expansions, the Astasakis, they are the Radharani's direct expansions, and that the expansions of the Astasakis, they're also like Kaivyuha, like Rupa and Rati Manjaris. These also like direct bodily expansions of Radhika. They are all Surup Shakti Tattva. They are not Jivas, they are not sadhanas. You can never become Rupa Manjari. You can never become Lalita. Okay? They have their position always superior position. Okay? So the general Sakis of Braj, they're known as Southern Siddhas. Okay? So Nitya Siddhas very close, Southern Siddhas close, but a little bit, what's the word? No word. Very close, but no, of course, cannot be like Rupanat. So, the jivas who achieve perfection by the path of Raganuga-sadhana are called Sadhan Siddha Gopis. Okay? Those who only serve Krishna according to Vaidimag, with the desire for their own pleasure, they may go to Dwarka. One cannot become a follower of the Braja Gopis through Vaidhi Bhakti, but those who those who behave externally according to the principles of Vaidhi Bhakti and inside practice Raganuga, they can achieve residence in Braj. So those who have desire to meet with Krishna directly, they go to Dwarka. Okay? They do not want to come under the guidance of the Brajagopis and serve the Brajagopis and serve Radhika's pleasure meeting of Krishna. Do not accept that mood, they go to Dwarka. Like even devotees like Mirabai, she so much loved Krishna in all her bhajans. But because she not want to come under she always like in a competitive mood of Radhika. Then even though she lived in Braj, at the time of leaving this body, where she went, you know, some say Sayuja Mukti also. Srila Sridhar Maharaj said Sayuja Mukti. Merging with Krishna. Anyway, I heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj, someone would talk about Mirabai, Srila Sridhar Maharaj become very become like this, like strawberry fire, because she not accept guidance of anyone, Rajabasi. Anyway, so whatever. Those who want to be with Krishna, not come under guidance of gopis, go to Dwarka. Okay, so that is called Swakiya Bhav, marriage relationship. In Vrindavan is no marriage relationship. Therefore, in Braj is called Parikiya Bhav. The only way to attain Braj Bras is to practice Raganuga Sakti and Raganuga Bhakti and Parikiya Bhav. Means if you want to meet directly with Krishna, you go to Dwarka. Okay. So, anyway, he asks, what's the difference between Kam and Prem? We a little bit explained that already. So, and he explained now Sambandha Rupa. We already explained that also. So I think it's clear. Understand? Okay. How many types of Ragatmik Bhakti? 2. Kamanuga, Sambandhanuga. Sambandhanuga, how many types? 4. Kamanuga, how many types? Just try and remember. Okay. How does one cultivate Raganuga Bhakti? In the mood of servant, friend, or parent? We heard about this. One who awakened taste for Dasirati follows the eternal residence of Krishna like Raktak and Patrak, and serves Krishna like they do, under their guidance. Those whose ruchi is towards Sakira serves Krishna by following the bhav and the chesta, the moods and the service chesta, endeavors, like the coward friends of Krishna, like Subal. And those who have greed, ruchi towards Vatsalya Prem also follow the bhav and the chesta, the moods and the endeavors of devotees like Nandi Yasoda. Okay? Then he asks, what's the mood? What does it mean to follow chesta and bhav? Okay? If you want to do a particular seva according to a particular mood, you need a particular form, a particular mood, and particular activities. Like Sakiras means wrestling, milking cows, all this stuff. Vatsalya means also giving breast milk, cleaning Krishna, feeding, teaching. These are called bhav and chesta. Which type of Raganuga Bhakti do we have the qualification to follow? They're asking. Which one are we? What is our surup? What is our ruchi? What's our inclination? And Babaji Maharaj says, only you know yourself. Examine yourself, your own mood. Right? So this is all false. You go to Gurudev, he gives you a secret mantra, you are this, go to that. Own self, disciple, realize. So, you should test, scrutinize your own nature. Then you will understand what type of Raganuga Bhakti you are qualified for. A particular ruchi will awaken according to your inherent swabhav, means according to your eternal nature, a particular taste will arise. Like, I don't want to get too much into this because Bhakti Pragyan Kesam Maharaj explained very simple way. Param Gurudev, mango seed you put in the ground, cherry seed, chili seed, what else? Pumpkin seed. The pumpkin seed have an inherent nature that manifests. The cherry seed have an inherent nature that manifests. The chili seed have an inherent nature. So a particular ruchi will awaken according to your inherent swabhav, according to your own eternal samskar. And what awakens in the heart, when the heart is purified, you should follow that. So, Vijay, uncle of Brajana, Vijay says, Prabhu, I am studying Bhagavatam for a long time. And I listen to Krishna Lila also a lot, whenever I get chance. Whenever I think of Krishna Lila, a strong desire comes in my heart to serve Radha Krishna like Lalita Sakhi. Babaji says, say no more. You are Manjari. You are a Manjari of Lalita Devi. Whatsoever you like, I like. Lalita Devi should give me some order. I should make garlands of flowers, string garlands of flowers, delicate flowers. I'll give them to Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi will put on the necks of Radha Krishna. And Lalita Sakhi will be very happy. She will glance at me with mercy. You want that? Babaji said, I give you my blessings, you may attain perfection in that goal. That's your sadhana. So when Vijay heard this, he began weeping so much. So Babaji said, continue practicing Raganuga Bhakti. And internally you follow this mood, I'm the Sakhi of Lalita. And externally you follow all the limbs of Vadi Bhakti.